Come on, big gold belt. Come on, y'all.
What's going on, y'all? It's your girl, My Desire, and of course, I'm back with another review of the Peacock original Bel-Air and its final season, season 4. And of course, we are here representing the Culture Collective, empowered by Big Obo Media. Over here, I got
Denny C23,
and over here I have
your boy Meech.
And we are here to give you the nitty gritty. So let's just jump right into it. We got it's a real cute scene we have with the guys having a moment, right? We see Will writing to these schools for basketball scholarships. So he's writing the email, he's sending the reel, right? And Carlton is helping him. Not a lot to talk about there, except for we love that they're actually, which they have been for a while. They're bonding. It's a bonding moment. But the big news is that Carlton gets the email for early decision from Princeton, and now we get to see that he's been accepted. So are we surprised at all that Carlton got into Princeton? And I'll start with you, Denny.
No, I'm not surprised. The story was too good.
You think Amira's story was too good in terms of
the recruiter? His eyes lit up when he heard that part. Like he was a shoo-in at that point for me. That's why I feel like,
Okay, what about you, Meech?
I was honestly surprised. I thought that Carlton was going to get caught up and we were going to find out that later. Like, I thought he was going to be denied with the early decision and we weren't going to know. And then maybe as the episode went on, we would find out that we know that he used the mirror story and so does Princeton. So I actually was surprised that he got accepted.
Okay. I wasn't surprised, but I will say I thought that there was going to be more, right? And as we see, sticking with Carlton's storyline, as we see, he does get called into the office, right, by Mrs. Bassett, and she's like, yo, we need to talk. And he opens the door, a mirror is there, and it's like, imagine my surprise when I get the call from Princeton and he's telling me the story, then I get this essay that's giving me this story. What were your initial thoughts here, Meech?
My initial thoughts were that it was going to be Carlton finding out that he can't go to Princeton anymore. But then we were finding out that Mrs. Bassett is thinking that Amir was the one that stole Carlton's story, which was like, what? What's going on here?
I was very surprised because, like you said, I was definitely under the impression that, first of all, I'm not gonna lie, and I can't believe I'm gonna say this, but nonetheless, not asking, right? Not asking what the story is, but you know what I mean? And also not giving an opportunity to Amira to be or Carlton to be who, you know what I'm saying? Because it was a clear assumption, right? I'm not a personal fan of assumption of anything, right? I remember making a statement about confidently assuming. She confidently assumed that it was Amira who was telling the lie, which is unfortunate for her because we all know that it's Carlton. So I wasn't too happy about that, just because, like you said, Carlton needs to have repercussions for his actions. And this is just not, it's not cool. So, Danny, your thoughts, because, you are Team Amira.
I am Team Amira. And the fact that it really was not even a conversation. It was really how dare you, Amira? I felt, and Amira is so solid. Once again, this is why I'm Team Amira, because she didn't say a word. She said, you know what? You're right. I'm going to figure it out. I'm used to adversity. You want this so bad, and I want that for you. So enjoy it. And I love that. It shows that she really loved that man. She wanted him to listen. What?
Let's see your thoughts, Amaya. You making this face?
You finish. No, I actually was my ear. I really was just scratching my ear.
Now she's scratching her ear. Man, she loved that man.
I was gonna say, no. Listen, love aside, I think that, and this is a deeper picture here for me, is that sometimes we're so accustomed to being put in a hard space and being doubted, being assumed against. I think that that's a default setting for Amira because she's accustomed to it. But that does not mean here. I by no means feel like she should not have stood up. Whatever repercussions would have come from her speaking her truth, Carlton would have had to deal with that. I think he should have dealt with that, because then it shows that Amira is actually, and again, like she said in another one of the scenes, I think she mentions like the growth, and I think it was like him running after her in the hallway. He's so afraid. There are two different levels of fear here, right? The fear of not getting into the school, not disappointing your dad, all these other things. And then for Amira, it's like, well, I know how much he wants this, but also like I'm so accustomed to these spaces that sometimes that can be a not so good thing. If you understand my point, that's all I'm saying. Like I think that she should have, because that would have given a different path for Carlton. In terms of having to really own up to his bad choices. That's all I'm saying.
So you would ruin the future of the man you love to prove a point?
First of all, I'm in high school. Love don't mean a thing right now. So like
high school love is like some of the biggest loves you could have. You know how many grown people still hold on to high school relationships? Like I'm just saying.
I said. I don't know.
I'm just saying.
Listen, every action has a reaction. Every choice you make has.
If your husband took your story so you get accepted into Princeton.
He ain't my husband. He's my high school sweetheart. It's not the same.
Man, listen, the way they're writing is Amira is that man's wife right now.
Listen, like I said, I think that Amira is in the storyline for season 4. They are giving her mad growth, and I will say that I love that. It shows that there's a certain level of growth that Carlton has not reached yet. Although we see through these episodes that he actually is getting there. So everybody's growth looks different. So but moving into that after we see him,
everyone else grace except Amira.
I did not give her grace. I literally just said that her growth is amazing.
Today,
I said for the season of 4. Oh, I'm not giving her grace. Seasons 1 through 3, I said what I said, and I'm not changing that. So it is what it is.
Right,
I'm shout out to her for leveling up in season 4, but in season 3, she was messy and she had issues. And let's just say we'll blame it on the drugs. Like they said, blame it on the alcohol, we're gonna blame it on the drugs. But she was not showing her best self. So
she was sick. She had to get help, and she did. And look at her.
She got help. Flourishing. That's super good for her. So now we move into Aunt Vi, who is at this yoga class, this pregnancy yoga class, and obviously as a older woman and as a mother of 3, right? As a mother of 3. She knows some things, but these new age moms are like, oh my God, put the baby on the stomach. Like what? So she's feeling a little left out, and she happens to run into Erica. And now, as we all know, Erica from season 3 pushed up on Phil. And they are sorority sisters, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
but
line sisters.
Yeah, and so somehow Erica was just doing the most, but nonetheless, she tries to have a moment with Viv, and Viv was like, "I'm not having it. I'm out of here." So that's very short lived or whatever. Next up, we have the one and only, right?
Jackie.
Snoop Dogg, like Snoop for this role as Mr. Carter. It's like the perfect person to give the speech to just, it's so raw, it's so real. What were your thoughts when they had the interaction of Snoop, Will, and Carlton, where he thought this was going to be a breeze? I'll start with you, Meech.
I love that Mr. Carter was pulling no punches, letting them know, listen, you need to be here. You need to be here on time. We ain't making it easy for you because you might be rich and from Bel-Air, whatever. No, you come in here just like everybody else, and you're going to do your community service and show up as need be. And honestly, while I was watching it, it reminded me of Coach Snoop, because some people may not notice, but he has his Snoop Youth Football League. And actually, he's developed a lot of NFL players, and I felt like I was seeing that kind of Coach Snoop vibe in this role for him with Mr. Carter.
Yeah, that's what I was literally thinking the same thing. And I was like, he's like I said, he's the perfect person for this particular moment in the season because it works. What about you, Denny?
I loved it. I'm not gonna lie. Seeing Snoop in general, it just gave me life. And it's based in LA. I feel like who else do you get to teach them about making better decisions for their life, and better choices? It makes sense. I like it a lot. The character, the role, everything came together.
Yeah. Yes, I will agree with it. So we are seeing how Will really wants to get into USC, right? So he's trying to pull every trick or, every grasping at whoever and whomever who he can connect with to get into, just get in front of the coach, right? And we see him and Lisa sit down and have a moment where, she finds one of the guys who's actually on the team and like, yo, this guy's also from Philly, so they connect in that way. Will slides into the DM. But previous to that, we know that Mr. Carter was like, yo, you need to be on time. 3 strikes, you're out, right? He was like, don't make this. I love that line. He was like, don't make this a reunion, right? So that's mean like he don't want you to be a repeat offender, which I thought was dope. But the dude Gavin gets back to Will and he's like, come through to a party tonight. And of course, Carlton is like, yo, where are you going? We got to be back here at a certain time. But I mean, I'm not surprised at Will deciding to go to the party, like before we get into that scene. But like, are any of you surprised?
No.
Nah, I got to secure my future, bro.
I mean, yeah, that's one way to look at it. So as we are seeing that kind of play out, we have this moment where Aunt Viv is just messy boots, right? Because that's what she did last season. She was messy boots. And her and Jackie are having a conversation and Lisa comes in, and she's like, oh, Jackie's here. And, Viv is like, yo, listen, like, what's the deal? She's like, I don't have no beef. I don't got no beef. She's like, well, y'all need to figure it out because for y'all to be going through it without your mothers, right? It's something that you both have in common. Now, this scene that happens between Jackie and Lisa, like, what are your thoughts about it, Denny, in terms of like the conversation that they have about their parents and the things that they have occurred?
All right, so that's very loaded because Aunt Viv is very messy and she gives advice based off of impulse and not thinking about who else it can affect. Like, I feel like this is constantly a thing where she's bringing Jackie and Lisa together. I don't know why she wants this to work so much, but hey, if they okay with it, I guess I am too. But I don't like Aunt Viv and Erica. I don't like that. Like, I feel like while she was having that conversation with the girls, she was thinking like maybe I should be forgiving Erica too. But no, Erica made a pass at your man not once but twice, maybe 3 times.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a difference, like, yes, they both dated Will, but not at the same time. So
yeah, I get that. What about you, Meech?
No, I agree with you. I definitely feel like it wasn't a situation. Like, I like what it is that Aunt Viv did for the girls with Jackie and with Lisa, getting them back together, where it's like, hey, Lisa, she's lost her mom. You, Jackie, don't have your mom in your life. This is something where it is that y'all can connect and that kind of thing. And you can see the wheels turning for Aunt Viv, where it's like, okay, maybe I should reach out to Erica and we could be friends or something. And it's like, no, y'all don't need to be friends because y'all both pregnant at the same time. I agree with you, Denny. Like, she made a pass at your man in college. And then who knows after that. And then also last season, we saw that she was still trying. And it's like, and you made it seem like, no, I'm not going to do that again. That's dead and gone. But yeah, no, for sure.
So I will say that
yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna stick to one thing at a time.
Right.
Aunt Viv having the conversation. I don't think that she's necessarily meddling per se. I will say that she's already developed a bond with Jackie, right? She had developed a bond with Jackie. She had a bond with Lisa, and I think that she is actually she just in a mentor space. That's what I would say. I think she's in a mentor space. The happenstance that Lisa came over while Jackie was there, like, all right, coincidence, maybe not, who knows. The information is still valid though, right? It's a lesson to be learned early on when building friendships, because it's good to know that some things you can actually get over. I will say that there's some things you can actually get over, right? Again, I said, like, they're in high school. There's so many different things that they have to learn and adapt and figure out for their own. But to hear wisdom, whether Aunt Viv can apply that to her own life or not, that does not take away from the importance or the impact that it had with the girls. I will say that, yes, this woman made a pass at your husband once in college. Again, recently in season 3, there is a conversation to be had, because whatever it is that's going on with Erica that made her think it was okay, obviously it's not okay, right? I don't condone that behavior. I think there is something that happens when you have to decide, like, where are we? How long do I hold something to, like, to the fire? Like, how long is Aunt Viv gonna hold on to the fact that Erica made a pass at her husband? Like, is there a conversation about forgiveness? They don't need to be besties, right? They don't need to be besties, but there is something about forgiveness and, like, moving forward and deciding whether or not that friendship is worth even having. That's a conversation. That's, we don't have so much backstory on them to, like, really go into that. But I will say, as somebody who's had to have very hard conversations, with the man involved in friendship, that sometimes you have to decide, like, the conversation and how you maneuver in order to go forward. So I don't, again, like I said, there's not enough with Erica and Aunt Viv, but I think that
she
it's
forgave
something.
her the first time.
She did.
Yeah, I'm not saying that she didn't.
The second time, come on.
Whatever is innate in Aunt Viv that decided for her to forgive the second time, that's something that we won't ever know about. But she decided to do it for whatever her reasons are. Maybe it is just because she doesn't want to be alone in the pregnancy class, or she wants somebody who can lean on her. Who knows? We don't know. All we know is that we've seen her take the high road. That's really what it is. So moving through that, we see that obviously Will and Carlton go to the party at USC. And they're in there. He's in there. He's trying to connect. Gavin almost kind of tests Will's knowledge of Philly, as almost to try to trick him. And Will is very clever and catches on. And then at some point in time, makes a joke about Carlton, at Carlton's expense to fit in, kind of sort of like, with the folks there. Are we surprised? Like, I mean, do you feel like the joke was just a joke, or do you feel like it was a jab? Meech, I'll start with you.
I feel like it was a joke, but I feel like it wasn't necessary. He didn't need to say that at Carlton's expense. I mean, I'm not surprised that Will said that. I feel like that's something that it is that he's done before, even though it's like he has Carlton's back. I feel like he didn't even need to say that for Gavin to feel like, oh, you're cool or whatever. To me, it was kind of lame, honestly. Like, you don't do that to your family.
Nah, I agree. Benny?
I agree. Like, it was a corny move. I think it was definitely, I think even Gavin looked at him a little like, oh, okay, I see how you giving it up. But then when he, like, I think the whole time he was there, he was
testing him. Yeah.
Yeah, the whole time he was there. He was like, let's see if you can hang before we even discuss basketball. Let's see how you show up as a person.
Thanks.
I respected that.
Yeah, so. I agree. And we see them, Will basically challenges him to a one-on-one and, all these things. I think the coolest part about this for me, because the basketball is cool. Like, we, what I'm saying? I thought they was going to be out on the court, you know what I'm saying? But then I seen my man throw the gummy bear and I was like, what is this? I have no knowledge about this. So I'm going to just throw it over to you, Meech. Like, this was a cool shot, but like, Is that realistic?
Listen. Shout out to my guy Chris Matthews, lethal shooter. Bonus Pride, I bleed brown, but yeah, it's possible. He understands it now, like he said. I know you've seen that wrist mo shit. You see what I'm saying?
I understand it now. That's a fact.
I thought that was very cool because I'm like, said no one ever. And I like that Will tried, but you know what I mean? Like the again, I think it's one of those things where I'm looking at it and I'm like, yo, the trying part definitely is even in defeat. Like Gavin still seemed like a cool dude. So, it wasn't too much there. But we see Lisa and Jackie have that moment. Lisa is going to Howard on a full ride. Jackie has gotten into Julia. First of all, you just got to shout out to these amazing opportunities that are coming in this season for these people, these young people. And we see them show up to the party with a mirror, right? So now there's another added part into this because the ladies are here, they're having a good old time, and Amira keeps telling Carlton, well, Carlton is spiraling a little bit, and he's like, yo, just tell me if you're gonna tell. No, never mind, I'm gonna tell. You know what I'm saying? And she's like, I don't want you to do that, but I do want you to do something. And then we're like, we're just kind of like there, like, what are we talking about, right? And as we see, she's pointing to like her phone or something of the other. And so then we have the dance, right? Carlton is clearing out the floor, and we have the ode to the, like, that's a staple scene that everybody knows and loves from the French Prince of Bel-Air. So Denny, like, what were your thoughts when you saw this go down?
Initially, I was confused. I was like, how did we get here? But once they got into it, I was like, you know what? It don't even matter no more. It was lit. I liked it. I like every moment of it. I liked how Will jumped in, and then they started the routine. And then he's like, not the routine. I was like, okay. That's really how being the parties in school, though. Like, like, you get the people that's lit, get in the circle, like,
that's a fact. Yeah. What about you, Beach?
I enjoyed it. I loved it. I was actually wondering if Will was gonna jump in, and then when he did, I'm like, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Don't have Carlton out there by himself making a fool of himself. Nah. But yeah, it was great. The dance routine was fire too. It definitely was.
The dance routine was definitely fire, but I will say your man Carlton was hitting them sides real hard. I was like, God damn, Carlton, like, chill for a second. You know what I mean? I was like, you're gonna break something, bro, because he was very serious until Will got up there. And so I'm like, all right, now you don't mess with Carlton when he's dancing, apparently. But yeah, super, super dope to see that moment for sure. I loved every bit of it. And now your boys are running late for the meetup, right? And so it's like one of those things where you're like, oh man, how are we gonna do this? Like we said, promising choices. Mr. Carter said, don't be late. 1 strike, 2 strike, 3 strike. And they get there. I love this. I actually really love this because they get there and you see him coming out, walking towards the door. To me, I didn't even look like he was walking towards the door. It's just, you see Mr. Carter, you see the boys running. They slow down when they get there, the door's still open, and then boom, the door closes. Like he says, they say we were on time, and he says, I meant butts and seats, not at the door. What did you, have you ever experienced something like that? And what did you think about the lesson being taught here for the boys, Meech?
I'm not gonna lie, I definitely had an experience like this. My physics professor back in college, Dr. Neeson, he was definitely like that. If you were a minute late and not in your seat, the door is locked. You can't even get into the class. You gotta, we'll see you on, if it was Monday, we'll see you on Wednesday. And I like that because it instills discipline. It instills, hey, if you're on time, you're late.
That's a fact.
I need you to be seated and ready to digest what it is that you're about to get here.
Yeah, I agree. Denny?
Is it the same question? Like, have I experienced? Yeah, I've definitely experienced things like that. Like, once the door is locked, you can't get in. Listen, basketball practice, freaking anything, girl. I've had a lot of people preach punctuality, sense of urgency. Like, so they got to learn too. Hey.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I definitely experienced that. And on the back end, I've experienced that if you're late, you got to do some laps, right? So if I'm late for track, I got to do the mile run before I even get to jump into where everybody else is, for sure. So definitely the sense of urgency and like the showing up on time for the things that matter. I definitely like that moment. And again, like I said, Snoop is like the perfect person to like just bring this energy to this particular scene. So as we see Phil and Geoffrey, I'm not gonna lie. So here's my so this is a very interesting as we round out this episode, right? Geoffrey there every single time somebody signed. I'm not gonna lie, it looked mad weird, bro. Like it was giving very mobster vibes, and I'm trying to figure out like Phil is just trying to get these things signed in order to claim the money. You know what I mean? Like Geoffrey doesn't have to be there, but I mean, okay, I get it. So what are your thoughts? We see him, they go down the line, we got the laundromat, we got 2 parking lots, and we have the mini
Laundromat,
mart.
parking lot, mini mart, and Charlie's.
No. The guy at the mini mart didn't sign, but there were
Yeah,
other
there was a
there were
car
4.
wash too.
The
Car
car
wash.
wash. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So we see the car wash signs, the 2 parking lot signs, and the laundromat signs. And then we get to the mini mart doesn't sign, right?
Mhm.
And we see that moment where Geoffrey's like, yo, I can make him change his mind. But Phil is very adamant, like that's not what we're doing around here. That's not how you're gonna get it done.
Yeah.
Danny, what were your thoughts on this whole entire
Geoffrey should have stayed away. I don't like this man. But I
Oh
get
my
it.
God.
I get it. It had to be done. It had to be done. Listen, all I'm saying is this whole mobster energy swindling the people of the community is just perpetuating what's already being done. But now it's a black face behind it and it sucks. So I don't like it at all. But hey, we're gonna see how it go.
What about you, Meech?
I personally don't feel like he should have been there for any of these signings. Like it looks away. Like you look like you strong arming somebody as you have your enforcer standing up while I sign. Like every time he been standing up. Phil is the one who's sitting at a table and he's behind him as like his bodyguard type of thing, or the enforcer. Like, nah, you don't sign this paper. And I agree with Denny. I feel like in this sense, I don't like what's the end game with this here. What's gonna like where are we going with this?
So I was thinking to myself, one, I remember what Phil said in episode 3. He says, I have a plan. He says part, he's got something brewing, right? And we know that he said he was not going to clean the money through the
Investors' money.
right, through the investors, right? But he was going to do it with the small businesses and whatnot. And I will say this, sometimes, you know how they say, like, you can take the person out the hood, but you can't take the hood out the person. I think in this case for Geoffrey, right, because he was away from that world for such a long time, now the world has come to him, right? So it's almost innate, right? And as people, like, I'm from New York, I'm really cool and calm when I'm here in Maryland, but as soon as I got back to New York, I'm like, yo, my dude, like, you ain't see me standing right here? Like, what's going on? Like, yeah, it's like one of those things. So I will just say that I think that I like that they're showcasing that sometimes you can be away from something, but you can easily go back if you don't catch yourself. And I think that's kind of what's happening to Geoffrey is he's not catching himself, right? And so the mini mart doesn't sign, and he decides after getting the call from Miss Gordon. Let's talk about Miss Tony Childs for a quick hot damn minute. Her fine ass looking good, girl, looking good. Okay, and she basically says, and she was flirting with the eyes. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna do this. But cougars be known. All right, moving on. So, so Miss Gordon, basically tells Jazz, I think what she said, he was gonna need like $250,000 to get started, right? Because he wants to have Charlie's and also do the dispensary business. And so she makes a call to Phil. Phil comes down, and we are all like, oh my God. Because, oh my God, right? We thinking cleaning the money and not cleaning money, but you clean it with Charlie's, right? So I'll go to you
and
first.
weed.
And weed. So yes, what are your thoughts, Danny, about this situation, about the final and fifth business being Charlie's?
I felt this was sloppy on Phil and Geoffrey's part. I feel that was the sloppiest thing you can do. They should have went to a pizza shop. Like, what? How do you think Will and Carlton are gonna feel? This is their friend's business.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And talking about things don't get messy when you're involved, right? What? It got messy already. You don't remember cleaning your house?
Nah, he probably didn't clean his house. Sorry, not sorry.
You don't remember walking into your house being trashed? How about that? You remember that?
I mean, he remembers that part.
Come on, like you gotta make something. Phil is choosing to be oblivious. Like he is choosing.
I don't know. What about you, Meech?
No, I agree. I don't feel like Jazz's business was not the one to say that we're gonna use his number 5 to clean the money. No. Especially the fact that he said it's wrapped up in marijuana. Yeah, it may be legal in California, but I feel like you're drawing attention to yourself with that. And then even more so, this is Will and Carlton's friend. This is Will's best friend. Like, what is it that you're doing here? And it's like, what is your end game? Are you looking out for family for real, Phil? Or are you just trying to put a Band-Aid on a gunshot wound?
Interesting. So I will say this. Here's the thing, right? Whenever we're thinking about what's current, you also have to think about the past. You have to think about what's being said. Phil, be mindful that Phil also was a lawyer, right? And a partner, not just any lawyer. He was a partner. He was the man. If that man says he has a plan, and you are also very familiar inside and out with the legalities, I just feel like Phil is not going to put Jazz in jeopardy in a way that he cannot be saved. I'll say that. I don't know if there's anything that will happen. However, I think that Phil is smart enough to make sure that he is covering the bases in a way, because here's the thing. The mini mart said no. So he had to find another business, and he had to find a business local to the investment property. That was his thing. Remember, he said it has to be local and surrounding the areas near the investment property, or it'll look weird. So I'm just thinking, could he just have the same plan, whatever the plan is that he told Viv, but it just now involves Charlie's? That's all.
I agree. Did they need the fifth business?
Well, yeah, because they have to move how much? 50 million?
50 million. So yeah, I feel like he split it up 10 each.
10 million each. That's great. That is crazy. I don't know nothing about drug money and laundering, but I'm just like 10 million per business is crazy work. All right. So moving on into episode 5, and as we closed out episode 4, basically Gavin calls Will and he's like, yo, I don't know when the coach is going to come see you, but the coach said that he would. And then we see that, we're at the game, not necessarily the game, but like, where they come to see y'all are more familiar with this, so help me out.
Like combine. Yeah.
No. I think it was unsigned seniors that were playing. Yeah. Okay. They were playing against each other in a game. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So, and we see Will talk to the USC coach, and then basically he gives the face, and they find out that USC the roster is full, right? And he gets picked up by, what school is this? I can't remember.
Something Stingrays.
Lower Stapleton.
Okay, here we go.
Lower Stapleton. Yeah, the Stingrays. Yeah.
So the guy basically comes over and tells him that he's gonna give him a full ride, XYZ. But we find out that also it took the USC coach like 3 months to come and check Will out. So like, what? How? Like,
Right.
you guys have played ball, so like, what are your thoughts on like this process, how it works? How do you feel about it for Will? Meech, I'll start with you.
Honestly, I felt like the coach was playing in his face. Like he didn't even need to be there to watch anything because your roster's already full. So why are you there in the first place?
Mhm.
Like you're not gonna come there and be like, oh my goodness, unless like Will was like like the next LeBron or something like that. And even still, you come, you watch this, and then you give this terrible news of like, oh, the roster's full. This person came in the transfer portal. Like, okay.
Right.
Hey, I
Yeah.
feel like he should have came at least to give him that. That way he's not stuck on a what ifs or are you ever, So I think that so Will could rip the band-aid off and be open to other possibilities because he was so gun-ho on USC, similar to how Carlton was with Princeton.
That's true.
So
You don't
I
think that news could have came from Gavin though?
no.
Instead of the coach coming to watch and
How would the coach? How would Gavin know? Listen, when you as a player tell the coach, "Hey, this is good player," the coach hear you, but the coach already got their own vision for their team, their own playbook, they own like pieces they feel they need. You might say this person's good, but do they fit in with what I have built, what I'm trying to build? I know the
So
team
why
that you
go
want, player.
watch if you
Just
feel
in
that way?
case, it was somebody he was willing to fight for. And he said the person that came in the portal is probably more beneficial to the team he's building than what Will offers. He said, he already got somebody that could shoot the ball good. And Gavin, he probably already got somebody that can get assists good. Do you know what I mean? Like, Will's not averaging crazy assists. He's not triple doubling it.
Yeah. No,
So
I
like
got you.
that's what it really come down to. So it's about I don't feel no type of way. I feel the coach did right by coming there to tell him, like, all right. Like, unfortunately, I didn't see enough today to make me want to fight you over the person in the portal.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It is.
All right. Well, over to gender reveals, right? I love this very intimate, small, straight to the point. Okay. No fireworks, nobody getting lit on fire, nothing blowing up. I'm just saying, because some people be doing the most. But nonetheless, we had the little gender reveal. And there was a lot of speculation, right? Because it was like, is this baby Nikki? Is it not? Like, XYZ. And it's a boy, right? Kind of like not really surprised by that because, but nonetheless, we love the joke part of this scene where Carlton's like, yeah, I got baby names ready. And he's like, I think it's cool because Thurgood. And I'm like, what? Like all the names that he was giving very old.
Yeah.
And again, Will's joke about like, listen, they already named you Carlton. Like that is enough, and he is not lying for sure.
That's a fact.
So of course,
Hold up, was Ashley? Where was Ashley?
She was at a freshman trip. That's why Will was video recording for her.
Yeah.
Okay. I missed that because I was like, dang, the one person who was the biggest mouth about the baby wasn't even there to witness it in person. So,
yeah,
that sucks.
Yeah, that's that is unfortunate, but it is what it is. So of course now we have this moment where we're seeing the boys think about college. Like we know there's a lot of pressure around making your decision, like who you want to be, where you want to go, and these things. I thought it was very realistic because it's the thing that all kids who are deciding or thinking about going to college have to go through. Was there anything in particular that like really stood out to y'all where y'all was like, I understand this pressure that they're like going through, both Will and Carlton? Was there anything that was like, yeah? Either of you can jump in, doesn't matter.
All right. For me, I would say I didn't have the same struggles when picking a school when I was going to school. Like I wasn't trying to fight for a basketball scholarship to go to school. already secured grants through other programs. So, like, Will missing summer was a big hindrance to him. So I feel like that's why he had to overcome so much. But I could definitely relate to this the stressing part of like anything of waiting or trying to figure out what your next move is or what your next step's going to be, especially when your parents are saying, hey, yeah, aunt and uncle aren't going to help you pay for this.
Right.
And we aren't in a place to help you pay for this. So let's figure it out. So for Will, I feel like that's kind of trash. Honestly,
Okay.
Carlton should have pay for his own Princeton. I don't know. It's crazy.
Oh, wow, that's crazy. Meeks.
No, yeah. I mean, for me, when I had my choices for colleges, I definitely had like the top ones that it is that I wanted to go to, but I don't think I had the same kind of struggles of like, okay, I need to fit on the right basketball program or sports team or that kind of thing. I do get at the end too how you could kind of see where it's like, okay, do I go to this school for basketball on Will's for his story, and then for Carlton's like, do I go to Princeton and it's essentially be 4 more years of Bel-Air? So I mean, it was tough, but I think in my college experience for sure, it's like I knew these were the 3 schools I wanted to go to. Whichever gave me the most money, that's where I went.
Carlton better not back out of Princeton, is all I'm saying.
After all that, I would hope not.
And if he does, I'm just saying he's going to remain on the worst people ever list for me.
I mean, I think that here's my thing. I think there's a lot of things to consider, right? While Princeton is listen, you know, when you're a kid and you think that this is what you want and you see it all the way through and you follow it all the way through and you get right there to that thing, and then you have to consider all of the experiences, right? So when you're in junior high, when you know, you're like, oh, I want to be this. When you're a freshman, oh, I want to be this. And then when you're a senior, you really have to think about and consider who you want to be, where you want to go. If it doesn't align with who you want to, right? And let's just think about this for a quick second. Princeton is Bel-Air. The reason why he ended up on coke in the first place was because it was mad pressure, and a lot of people don't look like him over at Bel-Air Academy. So I'm, you know what I mean? I think there are a lot of, I don't know what it's gonna be, but I wouldn't be surprised if that didn't play into it, only because Bel-Air was not necessarily a struggle, but there was pressure, right? There was pressure there. So listen, I mean, who knows? But let's jump into, you know, a little bit of naughtiness, right? Miss Gordon, right?
Miss Pamela.
Said Miss Gordon if you're nasty.
Hey, listen. This is a very interesting like moment because, and we'll just stay with the jazz line, jazz storyline for a second. So obviously, you know, Jazz and Miss Gordon are having sex now, right? And he's just having a good old time, and he tries to take her on a date and everything like that. And she's like, no, because, you know, it's just a good time being funny, you know. And then we have that moment where Will and Carlton come in to the shop because, you know, they broke off a piece of Lucille, and we'll get to that story in a little bit later. But Jazz gets it for them, and then Pam walks in, and Carlton. Yo, first of all, I love this scene so much because Carlton is so innocent. He's so very much like, oh, Auntie Pam, what are you doing here, right? And like we're like, okay, I knew y'all was friends. You know what I'm saying? Like we knew that Tony and Viv were friends. I see, like Tony. We knew that Pam and Viv were friends, but we didn't know how close they were, and so. Carlton is, you know, saying Miss, you know, Auntie Pam, whatever, and she's like, oh, I can come back, you know, it's no big deal. And then Carlton's like, well, tell Uncle Tyrone I said hey, and everybody's like, well, who the hell is Tyrone? Right? And you know, her husband, of course, are like, that scene was very cool, very funny, but like, are we surprised, and how do we feel about that? I'll take it to you, Meech.
No, I was surprised. I did not think that she was married. The way how she was moving, it definitely was giving rich auntie vibes. Is what I thought. She was single and just mingling, and like she wanted her little young thing to have fun with. That's what I thought. And then we hearing that changing she changed Carlton's diapers, and it's like, whoa, this is real close to home. Especially when we found out how that relationship between her and Aunt Viv is. He calling her auntie.
Denny.
Oh my
Not you
God.
over there, man.
I
You
am
can't
weak.
keep his composure.
I'm not gonna lie. When Mr. Tyrone.
Right. Who Tyrone?
Who Tyrone? Better call Tyrone. Then I'm not gonna lie, man. They was doing that was perfect. The Banks kids don't know how to hold water.
Hey, apparently not.
The Banks kids don't know how to hold
Nobody.
water. You want to know something? Ask a Banks.
This is
You
a
want to
fact.
know something? Ask a Banks. Because the mother gonna tell you, the kids are gonna tell you. Phil the only one.
Everybody gonna tell you. This is a fact because Phil been holding secrets since season 1. Okay, so definitely.
So,
And,
that was needed. That was
Yeah, it was a light in the episode, and of course your boy Will picks up on it because he was like, "Oh, he thought he had himself a cougar, like he's over here smashing his Pamela, right?" And again, love the innocence of Carlton to be like, "What?" You know what I mean? Like that whole, I needed that. I needed it. It was like a cleanser to your palate, real quick, with all the nonsense that we had happening. So I like
Right.
that. So we do see that the boys have finished up Promising Choices. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of was looking forward to seeing Snoop at least one more
Again, right?
time. You know what I'm saying? So it was a little bit sad about that. But they finish up. They're like they got it together, and now Phil is like he wants to teach the boys some skills because apparently Carlton don't know how to use a can opener, and it's sad. Okay, all the way around sad. So he's trying to share this moment with them about the car, and they get to playing around and whatnot, and they break the mirror. Now anybody knows anything about classic cars, it's very, very hard, very, very expensive to find like pieces that actually match and go with the part that you broke. But Phil's upset. He tells them to, like, if they're not gonna take this serious, then go sit down somewhere. And then we have Viv basically telling them, like, listen, y'all need to show up for him the way he shows up for y'all. And she does it in a way that I don't even think, like, I think it was a gentle push for sure that was absolutely needed. And I'm glad that she said it, although sometimes I again, forgetting that they're kids, teenagers, right? So they need that push. How do you think that was handled in terms of like how Aunt Viv talked to them and gave them the background story, but also like telling them to just show up for Uncle Phil Meach?
I think it was needed. I honestly think that was some things that Phil has kept to himself that they didn't know about, especially even Carlton, his own son, didn't know that his own dad, he wasn't able to drive in the car like he wanted to with him. And here he is. It's like, hey, I'm trying to teach you guys skills and then also bond with you before you go off to college and do something that I wasn't able to do with my father. Mm-hmm. So I definitely feel like Viv telling them that and telling like, hey, like your uncle and your father needs you right now. He needs you right now.
Yeah.
I think that push was definitely needed for sure.
Yeah, I agree. What about you, Denny?
I agree. Yeah, I feel like she could have been harder on them for real, but she didn't. But I like the delivery. She's always going to deliver well. So,
yeah. So, I getting into the biggest thing I think probably that happens in this episode, which is one of the biggest things, which is the boys set up interviews, or not interviews, but they set up like these one-on-ones or whatever. Will has the college tour, like they're going to show him around campus, and Carlton has an actual like meetup with somebody who's going to Princeton. Now, this is very interesting because, similar to what I was talking about earlier, right? This guy is telling Carlton like, yo, Princeton is great, and Princeton is this, and Princeton is that, and then it comes that, but I felt like an outsider. There's so few of us. There are always eyes on us. Don't let anything happen and don't slip up because they'll be distant in third. And then you have on the flip side Will going to the school and he's like, yeah, everything looks great, and the guys are talking to him, and they telling him like, oh, they don't have time to study or go to class because they got weight room, they got film day, they got practice, they got all these other things. And then we get to the coach, and the coach basically tells him like, I'm here to win championships. I don't want to be that guy who packs my box and walks out and never comes back. Like essentially Will comes to the conclusion that he doesn't want a business major, and we can see that Carlton is very bothered by the guy saying like, it's predominantly white, right? So I'll give this question to you, Meech. How did you feel seeing Will super passionate about like, I want to be a business major and I want to play ball, right? I don't want to be just one thing. And the coaches talk about how like, well, I just want a championship essentially. What was your thought about that?
I mean, I think we have to look at the word here. He's a student athlete. Like the student comes first before the athlete. Not everybody makes it to the league as much as he would like to make it to the NBA, but he also understands that like, I have to get an education just in case I don't make it to the league or whatever may happen. It's like, you're a student first. And I think he was realizing like, wait a minute, y'all want me to be here just to be an athlete. You want me to be here to win championships. And he's looking longer term and big picture of like, hey, I'm here to do both. I'm going to go to school and I'm also going to get buckets and hopefully win championships.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. Denny, what about you as far as like seeing that conversation that happened with Carlton where the guy is telling him like, you got to be on your P's and Q's. You got to do this. You got to do that. And kind of seeing that anxiety spike again in Carlton that we saw in previous seasons. What were your thoughts about that?
I feel hearing that shouldn't have shocked Carlton by any means. I feel like you've wanted to go to the school for so long. You've already taken that into account when choosing the school. Yes, you've grown. However, you already know how to navigate in this environment. What's the difference now? See it through, my boy. That's how I feel about it. Because getting anxious about like what he already heard, like already knew, I should say, like is kind of redundant to me. And you went this hard to get it there. Don't chicken out now because you hear it's gonna be a little rough.
I think that's unfair to say, like, don't chicken out now because you hear it's gonna be a little rough, right? Did you take that into account really? Like I'll say this: had he gone to Princeton, and we don't know, right? Based on the facts that they've given us in the show, he has not been to Princeton, right? He's been at Bel-Air Academy. Bel-Air Academy has we don't know what the ratio is, but there seems to be a lot more Black people at Bel-Air Academy in terms of like how things are flowing, right? But Carlton is getting the experience told to him by somebody who went there, right? Like he's getting that firsthand conversation of somebody who's saying, yeah, I went and I graduated, but I felt so uncomfortable. I felt unseen. I felt like all these things. You having an idea and somebody verbally telling you is completely different. That's like about to get on a roller coaster, right? And you're like, oh, I'm so excited to get on the Superman, and somebody comes off and they're like, oh my God, like, whoo, that was a lot. And you might still do it, but it doesn't negate the feelings that you have when somebody shares their experience with you.
But their experience was, he also stated that it was a culture shock for him. For Carlton, that would not be a culture shock, for he's already like acclimated to this culture.
I think in a way, yes, but no. Like high school and college are completely different.
I feel like I can't base my experience based off what you went through when it comes to certain things. Like, yes, I understand. Like, you went to Princeton, but just because you went there when you went there doesn't mean I'm gonna have the same experience.
I think
Maybe academically, maybe you may have the same experience, but socially, I don't think that Carlton would have the same experiences.
Go ahead.
I think also Carlton might have had a moment where he was realizing, like, hey, I'm wanting to go here for the wrong reasons. Like, just because, like, this is something that we gotta also remember. Princeton's been pushed on him since he was a kid as well. Like, he was wanting this because of family, and then he may be realizing, like, do I even really want to go to Princeton for me?
Hey.
I was looking up like where Princeton is, right? Because Princeton is in New Jersey. I'm thinking into account like where everybody is.
Right.
When you're in Cali, there's Cali versus New Jersey is not the same. So we're talking about there's two different things. There are so many different things that can put you into a state of culture shock. That could be the actual school. That could also be the state that you're in, because Cali is more diverse than New Jersey. Okay. Right. So like in terms of the flavor and the flair and what you're going to be able to have in some ways, listen, I'm talking about it's diverse, but it's not the same. Cali has a different vibe. The vibe that Cali has is.
When last time you been to Jersey?
Cali, I've been to Jersey like probably like a couple of months ago, but Cali and Jersey not the same. They got the same vibe now. I'll go to Cali.
It's not the same vibe. However, it's not the same vibe. It's not the same vibe. However, what you're saying is blasphemous. Saying that he can't catch a vibe in Jersey.
I'm not saying that he can't catch a vibe in Jersey. I'm just saying it's not the same vibe. Or is it the same vibe? It's not the same vibe.
No, yeah. Okay, and not the same vibe in the sense of one place it doesn't snow. Jersey, you're gonna have to get the winter coats and the boots out for sure. That's right. That's what I was thinking from that standpoint of a shock and you having to adjust to, hey, you're gonna be walking to class in snow some days. And don't think it's gonna get canceled because it's not.
Nah, yeah, I mean it ain't never get canceled. New York, New Jersey, you going to school in the snow, bro. I done had some days. I'm like, that's trash. And then I came to Maryland and it was like 2 inches, not even. And the flurries just hit the ground and school was closed. And I was like, oh, I love it here. I'm never going back to New York. That's trash. They care about the kids here. Okay, New York does not care about your safety. I'm joking. But yeah, just a lot of different things, and we'll see how it pans out, right? As we keep telling you with the season. But the meat of the episode is Dominique, Phil, Geoffrey. It's a lot that's happening in this little triangle, right? And I think that we see how it's trickling into Viv, of course, right? Because her and Geoffrey have a moment, and she's pissed. She's pissed with Geoffrey because she's like, this needs to be wrapped up real quick, and I'm trying to figure out what did she say? Because I forgot what she was looking up, but she was talking about like how whether or not it needs to wrap up. It just needs to wrap up. The family is in danger. She doesn't like it. So, right. Thank you, Tom. Like, will the house get seized? Their assets. She's thinking about all these legalities and what could happen if something happens to Phil for being involved in this situation with Geoffrey and with Dominic. And I think they're like on they're getting ready to be on the last payment, and Phil tells Geoffrey, like, yo, wrap this up. Like, let's get this done. Let's get this out of here. And, we see Dom trying to basically lure Geoffrey back in. Like, oh, you're just the house slave and you're the housemaid and like, all these other things. how you can see Geoffrey's wheels turning, right? In terms of like he's trying to figure out, especially after that conversation with Viv, but like, what do you think the real motive is here that Dom is trying to do with Geoffrey? And I'll throw it over to you, Meech.
I think she's trying to get him back into life for sure. She's trying to get it to where, like she said, you were supposed to be sitting right next to me on the throne. It's supposed to be me and you. And I feel like she's trying to do whatever she can to make him feel like, you know what, you're right. I am this housemaid or whatever. The Banks family doesn't actually want me to be around because I'm causing issues and I don't have a seat at the table and those kind of things. Because I feel like Phil is saying one thing, but Viv is saying another, where it's like, hey, you family to a certain extent. Like when you start putting my kids' lives in jeopardy, that's where it stops. So yeah, Dominique is definitely trying to get him back into life, and Geoffrey's like, maybe I should do this because she's making it sound like a sweet deal, but it's not.
Right. That's definitely true. I will definitely say that I agree with you on that one, Denny.
Yeah, I agree. She's just trying to get him back in. She's trying to rope him in. It could be a trap. It could not be. She could just genuinely want him by her side. She could want to go legit, but it's still sketchy. It's too soon to tell.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
I mean, when she makes that comment about like, oh, you know, like I want out, you know, like, oh, I'm just, you know, let's take this, because like me said, it was supposed to be me and you on the throne. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's going on? But
the money
he's and you know, and he picks up on it like, oh, you're trying to like, this was basically like your plan, you know, this was the goal. So you're here, you're causing trouble in the States, right? You are having us claim this money for you, putting my livelihood, Phil, his family, everybody in jeopardy. And we see that basically like kind of comes to fruition. And I don't want to get ahead, because one of the bigger parts is that after knocking the mirror off the car, right, the boys fix it, they have that moment with Phil, and then a little bit later, Phil's like, yo, I'm getting ready to take the boys for a ride, and Lucille, come with. He's like, nah, I'm about to turn in. And we can see that Phil is outside of the construction site office and, you know, can tell that Geoffrey's there. And so that's a big reveal, because we know that's basically, they're starting to, for me in this episode with that particular part, it's like they're pitting them against each other, right? Like they're creating that doubt, creating that like, oh, well, what if Geoffrey really is doing this, or what if Phil is really doing this? And all you need is a seed of doubt, because it'll spark so many different things in a friendship or a relationship that's standing strong. And by the time we get to the end of the episode, we see Will and Carlton debating their choices. Pamela who stopped by earlier to the shop, right? She goes and she talks to Viv, and she's like, before this gets out anywhere, 1, I'm sleeping with Jazz, and 2, Charlie's got flags saying that the books had been manipulated.
Inflated. Yep.
Right. So, and as we close out the episode, we see that the feds show up at Charlie's, and Viv is trying to call Phil and give him the news and warn him and let him know what's up. And then she also has abdominal pain, and we don't know what that looks like. But in terms of the feds showing up at Charlie's and Geoffrey moving funny and Viv having pregnancy pains, like what were your thoughts on that combination? I'll start with you, Denny.
I feel the Braxton Hicks that was triggered due to everything crashing in at once is not good for the baby. I hate that for Viv. I hate that she is stressing so much during this pregnancy. The fact that Pamela came out and said, I want you to get it for me, I think that was admirable. However, She should have told Jazz they was on her way. But I guess she did get distracted by Will and Carlton being there. If we assume that she was going to tell him earlier that day, but like, my goodness, it's just a bunch of mess. And Geoffrey talk about nothing gets messy when I'm around. Back to the point of they shouldn't touch Charlie's at all, man. Hey there. I guess we got to wait for the other shoe to drop.
Yeah, we do. Meech, thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Denny. I feel like this is terrible for the baby. I hate that Aunt Viv is mixed up in all of this. And it's like she's the one who's getting the news about DCC flagging Charlie's for the inflated assets and that type of thing. So it's like, even if Phil was trying to shield her in a sense, it just seems like things just keep coming to her every single time. Like from the house when they broke in, like they all walked in and saw that together. And then now with this whole situation where Miss Gordon is telling Viv, like, yeah, you know, this is what happened, and just wanted to let you guys know because I know Phil is working with Jazz on Charlie's. It's really a terrible situation to be in for her, even though she did not want to be a part of it at all, and Phil was trying to shield her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. I think that Pamela did go to Charlie's to tell Jazz what was up, you know, initially when she stopped in there and Carlton and Will were there. It could have been a gift from Nikki on the side too, but probably not, because that's a really big deal, right? You like, I'm not thinking about sex if I also got to tell you there's a possibility that
She wanted sex too.
Show up. So I do think that it was admirable of her to go and talk to Vi, and I think she would have told Viv, and I think she would have told Viv and Phil had Phil been there, but Phil was out, and so the information is getting to her by accident in a way. And also things that he's been trying to keep her out of, she's insisting to be let in on as well. I don't think that either is going to be the best option for the baby. I think there's stress in not knowing because your mind wanders, and then there's stress in knowing because your mind wanders even more deeper into the rabbit hole, right? And so I don't love that for her, because this pregnancy, you know, is already taking its toll in terms of just her being older and her needing to slow down and then not be.
Can't say the G word.
So, no, I'm not saying the G word. And so, yeah, it doesn't look good. Very, 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 very shocked that this is happening so fast, especially in, as you know, with Jazz's store being on the line. We know how much the store means to him, how it's been in the family. Interested to see how that plays out, because plausible deniability, because he don't know nothing, so he can't say nothing, you know. So that's very interesting. So as we wrap, your final thoughts on how we've ended and what your predictions are for the next episode. I'll start with you, Meech.
Predictions. I think that Will is not going to be a part of the Stingrays team. I think he's going to find another school that's going to be better fitted for him wanting to be a true student athlete, going to school and playing ball, getting an education. I also, a slight part of me feels like Carlton isn't going to go to Princeton. I don't feel like he actually is going to go. I know you mad, Daddy. I know you over there looking like he did all this stuff with a mirror story and you're not going to end up going. Like, I get it. Trust me. But I think ultimately he's going to realize, like, I'm wanting to go here for the wrong reasons. And the way that I went about going here is not going to sit right with him, I think. Yeah. Outside of that, I'm curious to see how Lisa and Will do with her being at Howard for swimming in there. He's going to be going probably somewhere in California for school, is what I would think.
Okay. Denny, predictions, how you like this last episode?
Predictions. I will say Will is definitely not going to that school. He's losing too much. He's losing way too much. Carlton, Uncle Phil. Let's get into the meat. All right, Uncle Phil and Geoffrey gonna fight It might not be physical, but they gonna fight. They gonna have some heated words. It's gonna almost get physical. I don't think they're gonna actually get physical though, because he's gonna press him about Dom in that situation, and it's already been like I feel like a foreshadowing of tension between them building up. So I'm interested to see how that goes. Like very interested. I hope the baby is okay. Maybe we got a premature baby, because as we see, they're kind of time skipping a bit in these episodes. Because Aunt Viv even got a baby bump now, and we just found out she was pregnant. So I'm interested to see. I wonder if Hilary's coming back any at all this season. That like it is the final season, so she got to come back at some point. I feel like. So that's where I'm at. What about you?
So for me, I think so. Hoping that the baby's okay, right? First and foremost, hoping that the baby's okay. I do not think Will is going to sting to what is this Stapleton. Spaghetti. I don't know. There we go.
Yeah.
Stapleton. He's not going to Stapleton. I don't think that Carlton is going to Princeton. I think that they're having too many thoughts, and good thoughts. I think they're considering who they've become over the last year. I think the summer has been very impactful for them. So I don't think that they're going. I am interested to see how the rest of the season plays out in terms of Lisa going to Howard, because we know DC is very, very far from Cali. Okay, that's a long flight. Even I don't want to take sometimes when I'm going to visit. So, yeah, want to know what's going to go on with Amir and Carlton, because as we saw, they did kiss in the episode that we just watched, right? So wondering what's going to go on with that. And yeah, Phil and Geoffrey. Actually, I'm a second you, Denny, but I'm gonna say I do feel like they're gonna get physical. I do feel like they're gonna get physical. Because I just think that there's too much tension built up, and like words just won't be enough. So yeah. And I'm just trying to figure out how does Jazz, how does what happens with Jazz, Charlie's. And what is the plan? Will we get to see the plan come into play now that the feds have showed up on Jazz's doorstep? So yeah, I'm very interested, to see what goes on next. Y'all definitely know what to do. The audience, make sure to leave your comments, like, subscribe, the whole shebang. Let us know what you feel, because we will go in there and chop it up with you. And we'll be here right after the episode airs. So very excited. And yeah, so until next time, y'all know what to do. Like, subscribe, comment, follow us. We all here. Y'all see where we at. And until next time, y'all.
Peace.